Morning guys, so here I am at Rhossili Bay, Worm's Head. We travelled down from Worcester last night at around about 10 o'clock. It took us about 3 hours to get here, but we arrived just shortly after 1 AM and we set up and started doing some astrophotography, capturing the Milky Way and the Galactic core. And the weather conditions were absolutely fantastic actually, really clear skies, and we've got some cracking images of the Milky Way, particularly the Galactic core. Really pleased with the images on the back of the camera. Obviously we won't know until we actually get home just how good they are, but fingers crossed they should come up quite good. So it's now, as you can see, it's getting quite light behind me. It's now around about 4:30. I'm going to have a little scout around. Now we can actually see the location a little bit better and try and do a bit of landscape photography. I'm going to, if you look behind me round about here, there we are. That's Worm's Head there in the background. So I'm going to see about trying to photograph that. At the moment the sun is actually coming up in this direction over here, so it's going to be a little while yet, but the excuse me, the morning light is definitely building, and it's really quite special. I'm going to try and find my friend Mark, who I've come down with. He's already capturing some landscapes with the sunrise, so I'm going to take you now around the place, show you some of the sights, and hopefully I'll show you my next setup and my composition for my next shot, and we'll see you in a minute. So I'm going to quickly show you a couple of compositions and a couple of views which I've found. I'm hoping that they're going to make for some interesting images. Going to look at doing a bit of focus stacking, maybe a bit of foreground, middle and long distance, and blend them all together to make a nice sharp image front to back. I'm also going to look at photographing some headland with some sweeping arcs through into the distance. The conditions, like I said, are very still and very nice. There's I'm not sure if you'll be able to make out, but on the horizon there's a very subtle but very defined pink hue and band just coming off the top of the water, and you know, it really is. Although there's not much of a cloud in the sky, you know, this band of colour really does make for a beautiful photo. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you back up to my friend Mark, who's on the headland at the top there, as you can see, and have a quick look and see what he's doing, and see if I can bag myself a shot or two as well. So thank you for joining me so far. Let's go and see what we're going to do up there, and I'll be back in a few moments. Okay, so this is what I've got as my composition, as you'll see here. I'm focusing on these small flowers, in the front foreground and the front third. And if I pan you up, and you see we have this building on the cliffs there, and then we have the iconic and well-known Worm's Head in the background. So what I'm doing on this is I'm going to do a focus stack. I'm going to focus on the foreground interest first, which is the pink flowers, and then I'll focus a third into the scene, which will be onto this rocky beach line, and then my third shot will be focused to infinity, basically, on the background. And I'll quickly show you what I have on the back of the screen. So these are my settings. You can see 2.5 of a second f11, ISO 100, and it's a bit bright, but you'll see here, that's the view or the composition. So I'm focusing here on the pink flowers first, then onto the rocky shoreline, and onto Worm's Head in the background, and that's my final image. Hi guys, I'm moving on to my second composition now. The sun has risen and the morning light is now building very quickly. I'm going to show you my view, and then I'll show you how I've got it set up in my composition, and then you can see the image I'm going to take next. Okay, so this is my view. You see the headland here, the beach in the background, leading into the far distance. And this is how I've got it currently set up. So it's a bit precarious because it's definitely a drop down there. But currently my settings are on this an 1/8 of a second f11. ISO 100, and I'll just quickly show you the back of the screen. There we are, and this is what the image looks like. So I'm quite pleased with that. Trying to manage the highlights because I'm actually shooting into the sun, which means that the foreground is in quite a lot of shadow. I've taken a couple of exposures on this, and what I'll try and do is try and bracket those images into a single final shot, which I'll put on screen in a second. Hi guys, so that's probably drawn an end to our little adventure down at Rhossili and down at Worm's Head. We just currently packed up our stuff, and we're just going to head off back to the car park now, get in the car, and perhaps the most important part of the adventure is we're now going to go find ourselves a McDonald's and enjoy a breakfast. So I hope you've enjoyed the little trip with us. I hope you've enjoyed the shots we've taken, and some of the points we've pointed out, the composition techniques and guides, and hopefully you'll join us on the next one, and we'll see you then. So thanks so much for your time. Take care. Bye bye.